right now.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, October 7th. You've got me today on your Tuesday morning. I am so excited to be here. Sarah Spivey is here as well. Sarah, I drove into work today and the moon was still out.
Yeah.
I never get to do that.
You don't get to come into work that early. Welcome to the club, girl.
Thank you. Happy to be here, filling in.
It's a beautiful morning, a little on the humid side, and we do have the potential for some rain today. Let's go ahead and take a look out there with the pollen count. Molds are low, ragweed and fall elm also present in low amounts. As we take a look at temperatures, it will be near 80 degrees right now in San Antonio, but it's still only in the 60s up in the hill country. Again, we are humid for the rest of the day. There is going to be a small potential for a few showers and storms, pretty much between about 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. A 30% chance for you to see rain during the afternoon and evening commute. Otherwise, it's going to be warm, a high of 92. Now, the aquifer is down almost a whole foot in the last 24 hours. That is not good news. Again, thankfully, we have a small chance for rain today. I'll have those details and a look at how cool it is across the state of Texas. There is a cool front, after all, coming up in just a bit.
All right. Thank you so much, Sarah. Well, to your top stories now. A former Holy Cross High School employee is under criminal investigation, accused of secretly recording students as they changed clothes. San Antonio police say the 34-year-old man, who has not been identified, was also caught on camera having sex with another adult. Investigators say a staff member who shared an office with him spotted an alarm clock that appeared to have a camera lens. Inside, they found an SD card with footage of at least 3 students changing. The school fired the employee last week. In a letter to parents, the principal called the report credible and said the school took immediate action. Some families say they're still frustrated they weren't given more details.
Shouldn't happen. That's why you send them to a private school thinking that your grandkids or kids are going to be protected, and they're not. I mean, we don't know how long this has been going on.
At last check, the suspect is not in custody right now. Well, 18-year-old Andrew Cantu is in jail in connection with the shooting death of 14-year-old SAISD student Simone Cuevas. 3 other suspects face charges in connection with Cuevas' death. Surveillance video showed a group of 5 people following him as he left school last April. Police say Cuevas was beaten before he was shot and killed near Brewer Academy. Bexar County court records show Cantu was taken into custody yesterday on a capital murder charge. Ambushed, shot, and killed while sitting in a car. That's what happened to one woman on Hickory Springs Drive near Babcock Road. And this morning, San Antonio police are still on the lookout for the suspects. 32-year-old Kiana Mayberry was sitting in her car when 3 men suddenly got out of the car down the street, snuck up to her, and shot her repeatedly. She died at a hospital. Police say the suspects got away in a white sedan. If you have any information on the people involved, you're asked to call San Antonio Police. Countless families in our area have felt the pain of losing loved ones to fentanyl poisoning. It's not just a statistic. It's real people, real stories, and real heartbreak. That's why KSAT Community is getting together with local leaders to discuss what we as a community can do to protect our neighbors. Join us today at 2 p.m. for a town hall. I will be moderating that town hall, and we're going to hear from Angel Moms with Souls Walking for Souls, Representative John Lujan, and Drug Intelligence Officer Wendell Campbell. They'll share the truth about what's happening and how we can work together to save lives in our community. There are more details at ksatcommunity.com. Let's take a look outside with TransGuide. Right now, it looks like everything is moving nice and smooth. Haven't seen any traffic spots pop up, but of course, we are keeping an eye out there for you, and we will bring you any issues as we see them. Well, school safety, it's a topic we discussed when class started this year, and an area we focused on was the far north side off of Highway 281. And in August, we told you about the hundreds of school zone violations along Evans and Bulverde roads. Well, the mother who founded the Johnson High School Drive Smart Driving program reached out to our RJ Marquez. For years, she's been trying to get a tougher state law passed that would add more fines to drivers who use their cell phones. Despite Senate Bill 47 not making it through the legislature, which would have restricted drivers under 18 and school bus drivers with minors from using their phones while behind the wheel, Melinda Cox says she'll keep trying to prevent distracted driving and get that in next session. RJ took a drive with Melinda to see firsthand what morning traffic is like for students on Evans and Belverde roads.
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
And with that, we're riding along with Melinda Cox, a mom who founded Johnson High School's Smart Driving Club back in 2012.
My daughter was learning how to drive, and I was really worried about what I saw drivers doing, being distracted.
But first, let's take you back to August when we reported on hundreds of school zone violations near Evans and Belverde roads.
Without fail, every single day, people are speeding. A lot of people are on their cell phone, but I would say the primary offense here is too fast.
What about accidents? Do you see that a lot here?
Quite a bit, and it's because they're speeding, right? 10 miles over the speed limit, and you hit that, you're going to flip into the grass.
We made our way from Tejeda Middle School to Johnson High School on Belverde, and traffic was already backed up to TPC Parkway.
They clocked people going this way on Belverde one day at 10 a.m. at almost 80 miles an hour.
For years, Melinda has pushed for stricter laws to stop distracted driving.
People are not going to stop driving distracted until it hits them in the pocketbook.
She's pushed for a state bill that expands the current texting while driving law. It would ban any cell phone use while behind the wheel.
Is that your biggest sticking point when it comes to the law?
Sticky note.
Okay.
Still, the only thing left on my sticky note. We want it to be hands-free. So your phone is here, regardless of what you're doing, it can't be in your hand. And that bill has not even gotten a hearing.
Melinda told me they'll work to refile the bill in the state capitol next session with hopes to get real change on the roads.
It takes that one time, and like I said, then someone's kid doesn't come home. And I know that sounds dramatic, but it's just that's what happens every day.
RJ Marquez, KSAT 12 News.
Things like that.
All right, it is time for today's 9 at 9. Pope Leo is calling out the rise of, quote, anti-Semitic hatred in the world. In a prayer devotional Sunday, the Pope referenced last week's synagogue attack in Manchester, England. Leo also said he continues to be saddened by the suffering of Palestinian people in Gaza and hopes there will be a ceasefire negotiation soon. Governor Greg Abbott says hundreds of Texas National Guard members were deployed last night to other parts of the country to help protect ICE agents and other federal officials. Chicago and state of Illinois leaders sued the Trump administration, calling the deployment, quote, illegal, dangerous, and unconstitutional, end quote. The administration has 2 days to respond to the lawsuit. Lawyers for Sean Diddy Combs want the hip-hop mogul sent to a low-security federal prison in New Jersey to serve his 4-year, 2-month prison sentence. They told a judge yesterday that the facility's drug treatment program will help him stay clean. The judge has not yet acted on the request. The FAA says it's been delaying flights due to air traffic controller shortages. The transportation secretary blames the government shutdown. He says many controllers are calling out sick since they're no longer getting paid. An FAA operations plan says at least a dozen air traffic control facilities braced for shortages last night. Tensions over trade may be hitting makers of American alcohol. A trade group says exports of U.S. spirits fell nearly 10% in the second quarter, with drinkers around the world skipping American brands. Exports to Canada fell 85%. Big trucks will be carrying a bigger tariff soon. President Trump says imports of medium and heavy-duty trucks will get hit with another 25% tariff starting on November 1st. Well, according to new research, medical inhaler sprays are substantial contributors to planet warming pollution. Experts say it's not the medicine that's the problem, but the propellants known as HFAs. When the chemical is released into the air, HFAs trap heat in the atmosphere and can cause problems. Well, the holiday shopping season is here. Adobe Analytics expects people will spend $9 billion today and tomorrow, with Amazon launching its Prime Day event and other retailers following suit. Adobe also says online shopping for November through the end of the year could top $250 billion. Starting in early November, 30 new Spirit Christmas locations will open in the Northeast and Great Lakes regions. People can find decorations and gifts, plus get your picture taken with Santa Claus. Some stores will open in pre-existing Spirit Halloween locations. Well, it is 9:07, 79 degrees. When I usually get in, it's a little warmer than that, but we will be checking in with Sarah soon about how the day will heat up. Well, the federal tax credit for electric vehicles just expired, and experts say it could shake up the auto market. What this means for your wallet. And after months of flood damage and repair, part of Kerrville's River Trail is open again near Louise Hayes Park. We'll show you the amazing changes and how the community is healing.
This is it. This demolition site could be the future home of a new downtown Spurs arena. So what questions do you have about this huge project? Scan that QR code to let us know. Coming up on Wednesday, I'm taking your questions to Spurs ownership to get you answers.
After months of cleanup and repair, part of Kerrville's River Trail is finally reopening. That area near Louise Hayes Park was hit hard by the Hill Country floods. As Avery Everett explains, people are coming back to find peace again along the Guadalupe River.
On the first day reopened, this was my reaction.
Oh, it looks good.
Parts of the river trail are now walkable again in Kerrville, 3 months after the deadly Hill Country floods. And I wasn't the only one shocked to see the progress.
This seems like a real blessing and a step forward.
On the morning of July 4th, we took this video of Louise Hayes Park. On Monday, we took this video showing the recovery and restoration and the open river trail.
There's been a whole lot of work to get it done to this part, and we appreciate it. There's a lot more work to do.
That's why when we heard Kerrville was opening this stretch of the trail between the Camp Meeting Creek Bridge to the Francisco Lemos Street Bridge, photojournalist Alexis Montalvo and I got our walking shoes on. And so many others joined us.
We thought, okay, we got to get out there and just walk and pray.
The river trail was great, and it's still great.
Scars still show the force of the floodwater, but wildlife here has come back, and crews are working to get the park fully operational.
3 months in, but it was a lot.
What's most shocking to the people we've met on our walk today is how much the landscape down here has changed. So many trees were lost during the July 4th floods, but that's why they're so grateful to see how many trees have been marked.
It is a more hopeful time.
But even in a more hopeful time, there is still heartache.
So many friends still in just rebuilding their houses, their lives, and the loss that they've dealt with. I really just pray for the recovery, and just the restoration and just for the trauma, just to be lifted up.
People here are calling this the first step, part of the trail reopening, hoping the river can be a happy place once again.
Now, there are a few rules if you plan to come out here and walk. The trail is only open during daylight hours, and people are asked to stick to the designated paths. The city tells us it is a priority to get the park rebuilt. If you want to help in the funding process, there's ways to do so on KSAT.com. Avery Everett, KSAT 12 News.
Good to see it getting some use again. Thanks, Avery. All right, music lovers, you have 10 days to buy tickets to a country music concert benefit for our friends in Hunt. Hope for Hunt concert organizers are actually struggling with ticket sales, so we got to help them out here. The concert will be held at Pure Country Barbecue and Grill in Boerne, October 18th from 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. General entry tickets are $80 and kids are 12 and under are free. Headliners will be Thompson Square, Junior Era Band, and more. 100 tickets have been sold, and they need lots more people to come support. So you can read more about who the proceeds will go to and how it will benefit Hunt. That's on KSAT.com. It's going to be so beautiful out there, too.
It really will be. And I think around October 18th, there's the hope at least for some cooler
weather.
A
little bit cooler at least.
Now, though, today is going to be a hot day. And today we're talking about a small potential for rain.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and take a look outside with live cam. You can see those puffy cumulus clouds. It's already almost 80 degrees in San Antonio, but it is very humid, noticeably humid outside, especially compared to the last few days. That humidity could work in our favor in producing some downpours later on today. As we take a look at temperatures across the nation, you do not need to be a meteorologist to spot the cold front. It's pretty obvious where that cold front is. You can see it's only 52 in Amarillo, 48 in Denver, 30s across Wyoming, 59 in Oklahoma City. This is a bit of a tease because we're not going to see the cooler air from this front moving through. Instead, what we're going to see is the potential for some rain. You can see that there's some rain near the Mississippi River and across the Panhandle. As that front approaches, that's when we'll see the potential for a couple couple of downpours. We have to wait until the afternoon, and you can see by about 2 o'clock, maybe some will be developing across the hill country. I think this forecast model does a great job, not necessarily at showing the exact location of the rain, but showing the coverage of the rain today. It is going to be spotty, only about a 30% chance for you to see rain in your backyard, but that could include right over downtown San Antonio during the afternoon commute. So it is something we have to be aware of as we're planning the rest of our day. We'll continue to keep you posted. If you do happen to need to be out and about during the afternoon commute, maybe picking up kids, check the radar before you head out, and we will continue to keep you posted. Here's a look at your KSAT 12-hour forecast. Again, we're starting off our day fairly quiet. There's just going to be some puffy cumulus clouds out there. By about 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock, that's when we could start to see something on the radar, about 30% chance there. 92 for the high temperature in San Antonio today, so it's still going to be a warm one. And then later on this evening, after sunset, our chance for rain goes away, and we'll be looking at a mild evening with temperatures falling into the 80s if you have any Tuesday night plans. Today, it's going to be nice and cool across the Panhandle, only in the 70s and 60s for Amarillo and Lubbock, and even in the upper 80s for some places across North Texas, but we are still going to be hot here in San Antonio. Again, this is a cold front that is not going to make it to the Alamo City. Now, the one change we are going to see in our forecast after today's small chance for rain is that mornings are going to become nice again. The last couple of mornings, it's been a little muggy, near 70 degrees. But watch what happens by Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Our morning lows get into the low to mid 60s with low humidity. It's going to feel great if you wake up closer to sunrise, which happens around 7:30 over the weekend. So make sure to do that. You'll enjoy some cooler temperatures early. Otherwise, we're going to be stuck in Hot-tober, as I've been calling it. We'll be looking at highs right near 90 degrees, mornings in the 60s by the weekend, so that'll be a nice change. But after today's small chance for rain from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m., we turn off the tap. It ends up being a very warm rest of the week without chance for rain. And Courtney, a lot of people have been asking me, Sarah, when does it finally get cool? Well, coming up in the next half hour, I'm going to have an in-depth look at when do we usually see temperatures below 60 for the first time? When do we usually see them below 50, 40? And when is our first freeze? I'll have those answers for everyone coming up here in the next half hour.
I think that's helpful because I feel like every year we know, oh, it's normal that it's warm, but we're all annoyed that it's warm.
Oh, we're all eager for the cooler weather,
It's every single year I feel this way.
The seasons are guaranteed to change. We just got to be patient.
All right, thanks so much. All right, are you in the market for an electric car? The federal tax credit's gone and that's changing the game, but experts tell us how you could still save big time over time. Well, the electric vehicle market expected to take a big hit after the federal tax credit expired. In today's Consumer Watch, Jen Sullivan has details on how this will impact the auto industry and why buying electric could still save you money in the long run.
More Americans are buying electric cars. Last year, EV sales rose 7%, 3 times faster than non-electric cars, according to the Bureau of Transportation Statistics. But those sales could soon be slumping. That's because the $7,500 federal tax credit for new EV purchases expired on October 1st. Auto experts say it's a change that's going to shake up the entire EV market.
In the long run, I think it's going to make electric vehicles better because they now have to compete on an even playing field in terms of value, features, durability, and longevity.
Brian Moody with Cali Blue Book says EVs are typically more expensive. In August, the average transaction price for a new electric vehicle was more than $57,000. That's a lot more than the transaction price for all cars. Moody says those prices are higher because EV batteries are very expensive.
What automakers will likely do is offer some vehicles with a reduced battery, meaning that the range isn't as long, but the price isn't as high.
Moody also thinks automakers may be forced to lower their sticker prices. BMW is now doing just that, offering limited deals on EVs, and Stellantis is also offering specials on many of its electric models. EVs still may be a better deal for buyers.
Having an EV and charging an EV tends to be cheaper in the long run than a gasoline car.
Joseph Yoon with Edmunds says gas-powered cars are also more expensive to maintain. If you are in the market to buy an EV right now, experts recommend asking about charging stations for your home. You may have more negotiating power on the price, and a used EV may be the best deal. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
All right, time is 9:24, 79 degrees. There's a lot more ahead on GMSA at 9. Nonprofits struggling with inflation, tariffs, and now a government shutdown. They're warning services could be at risk without funding. Still ahead, how hundreds of these nonprofits are reaching out for community support. Plus, as we head to break, a quick check of the roads. We're going to bring you to I-35 at Olympia Parkway. This is the southbound lanes. There is a crash up ahead of this camera, so there is slow moving traffic. If you can avoid that spot, I would. We'll be right back. Well, the former head of purchasing at a San Antonio university says he stepped down after reporting high-ranking employees for improperly using their school credit cards. Records uncovered by KSAT Investigates show the charges included high-priced meals, technology that had not been pre-approved by IT, and lots of alcohol.
When I see these reports that clearly violated policy, I was not about to sign those, so I escalated them to the CFO.
Were you surprised to see receipts turned in that contained alcohol only, no food even?
Yes, especially that the policy clearly states alcohol is prohibited.
And all of this played out at Texas A&M University, San Antonio. So Dylan joins me now live. Dylan tracked down the story for KSAT Investigates. So Dylan, what made this former purchasing director, Daniel Garza, come forward to you?
Yeah, this summer we reported on Christina Gomez, an HR manager at the school who resigned after hundreds of potentially fraudulent purchases were uncovered on the same type of P card. Garza says that issue just scratched the surface of what he saw while working there years earlier.
So we know with these larger university systems, it's interesting to see how they each handle things separately, or is it with the big system? Do they create their own policies like this for items like alcohol?
Yeah, we've seen each university have its own set of policies. A spokeswoman for this school, A&M San Antonio, says as of now, they follow the policy set by the A&M system, which allows alcohol to be bought if certain conditions are met. One of those being if it furthers the mission of the institution. So if a purchase of alcohol is made and the person who used the card to make that purchase can prove that it furthered the mission of the school somehow, then that would be an allowable purchase.
So the rule alcohol with food, that's not really something that they can stipulate.
And it's not something that would really draw red flags unless it's a lot of alcohol, or as we'll see tonight, alcohol only and no food purchase whatsoever at a restaurant or a bar.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you so much. And that investigation, you can see the full one on procurement problems tonight on the Night Beat. We appreciate you, Dylan. Thanks. In other news, teachers and staff members at more than 120 school districts in Texas are under investigation over what they may have shared online about the political assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. The Texas Education Agency says it's received more than 350 complaints about social media posts. Some of those teachers work for 13 school districts in our area. After Kirk's death, TEA Commissioner Mike Morath said the agency would investigate educators accused of posting inappropriate content related to his death on social media. Well, Northeast ISD is still waiting for guidance from the Texas Education Agency over its cell phone policy. The state recently passed a law banning students from using cell phones during class, but it left it up to districts to decide how to enforce it. NEISD currently allows students to use their phones during passing periods, but not in class, something the TEA says doesn't go far enough. Parents have pushed back, calling the district's approach common sense, and Superintendent Dr. Sean Micah says he's frustrated with the state's call for a complete ban.
I feel like at this point, we've listened and we've done some things that make some sense. It's unfortunate that while those lawmakers who seem to agree with us had a change of heart, I guess.
The superintendent says they have sent a 4-page response to TEA, including an invitation to last night's meeting, but they have not heard back. He says the school district is in a holding pattern on their policy.
All right, we are looking at a warm start to our day. It's already almost 80 degrees outside and pretty humid. A lot of people have been asking me, Sarah, when do we usually cool down? Well, I wanted to break that down for you. When do we see cool mornings typically in San Antonio? When is our first morning, let's say, under 60 degrees? Our first morning under 60 degrees on average happens on September 26th. So we're already past that, and we have yet to see a morning below 60 degrees. The latest it's ever happened is on October 19th back in 2007. What about 50 degrees? On average, by the middle of October, we usually see our first morning in the 40s. And then what about in the 30s? On average, that usually happens by November 8th. And then finally, when is our first freeze? It usually happens by December 3rd. That is usually when we see our first morning at or below 32 degrees. Of course, these are just the averages and it varies year to year. And so far this October has just been pretty hot. But we do see a cold front on the horizon. Take a look at this. Temperatures falling into the 50s in the panhandle of Texas. Unfortunately, that front is not going to be bringing us cooler weather, but what it is going to be doing is bringing us a shot at rain pretty much from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. I'm going to have a more in-depth look at that coming up in the next half hour, but I want to give you an early preview tomorrow on GMSA at 9. Science with Sarah. We are going to be talking about potential versus kinetic energy and building paper airplane launchers. So that'll be fun. So I hope you'll tune in to GMSA again tomorrow with Science with Sarah. I'm going to have the latest on our chance for rain coming up here in just a little bit. Courtney.
All right. Thanks, Sarah. Taking back outside with your traffic authority, back at I-35 and Olympia Parkway, still moving very slowly. We know that there is a crash right up there in that area. These are the southbound lanes. We are still keeping an eye on this for you, but if you could avoid that area, that would probably be best because that is still pretty stuck over there. Well, hundreds of local nonprofits in San Antonio say they're struggling and might be forced to close their doors. They say inflation and tariffs have made it harder to get donations from corporations and individuals. Combine that with a government shutdown, and funding is a huge problem. Nonprofits provide about 87,000 jobs in town and offer $13 billion in economic impact every year. Under normal circumstances, government funding is tied in with state and local dollars, but the shutdown means some might be making tough calls.
And it's usually reimbursed. You deliver the service and then you're reimbursed. So during this time of uncertainty and cuts, really important decisions are being made where nonprofits are serving not knowing if they'll ever be paid for those services.
Yeah. Nonprofits say the best thing you can do is help volunteer, donate, or reach out to your elected representatives to make sure that nonprofits are not forgotten during this shutdown. And we hope you'll join us this Saturday, the 11th, at the Rocket La Cantera for Light the Night. Hundreds of lanterns will illuminate the sky to celebrate, honor, and remember people impacted by blood cancer. Our Daniela Ibarra is emceeing that event. And flu season just getting started, so now is the time to get vaccinated. You have two opportunities to roll up your sleeves and get free flu shots, courtesy of University Health in Bexar County. The first is this Saturday, October 11th at Dub Ferris Athletic Complex. The next event is October 25th at Gus Stadium. Both events go from 8 a.m. to noon. Adults and kids 6 months and older can get flu shots, and you will need to register before you go. So for more information on both of those events, you can head to KSAT.com and click on our KSAT community section. Now to your health headlines. RSV is a common respiratory virus that can cause mild symptoms similar to a cold. But unfortunately for some, it can take a serious turn. CNN's Mandy Gaither explains why October is the time to make sure you're doing all the right things to stay healthy during RSV season.
Right now in the U.S., RSV activity is low, but October is when the virus typically starts spreading, and it's dangerous to those who are most vulnerable.
It's the leading cause of hospitalizations in kids less than 1 year of age.
Dr. Juanita Mora with the American Lung Association says RSV symptoms may start mild with a runny nose and high fever, but it can travel to the lungs and cause babies and young children to be at risk for illnesses like pneumonia. She says if a child is having labored breathing, shortness of breath, wheezing, a worsening cough, or signs of dehydration like a lack of wet diapers, it's time to take them to the emergency room. But she says there is a way to protect against severe disease, the RSV vaccine. The CDC says it can be given between weeks 32 and 36 of pregnancy, or an infant RSV antibody can be given to the baby after birth.
We saw from the 2024-2025 data that by giving protection to these babies, we were able to reduce hospitalization by 50%.
Last season, the CDC estimates that from October 1st, 2024 through May 3rd, 2025, there were up to 6.5 million RSV outpatient visits, up to 350,000 hospitalizations, and up to 23,000 deaths due to RSV. This season, the agency expects peak weekly hospitalization rates across all age groups due to RSV to be similar.
Let's protect the village to help protect these babies.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention signed off on a recommendation that patients must consult a healthcare provider to get a COVID vaccine. This and other recommendations were made by a new panel of vaccine advisors chosen by Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. With the CDC's okay, the recommendations are now final and U.S. vaccine schedules will be updated. Well, soda lovers, you may not love this one. This new study suggests that just one can of diet soda a day could increase your risk of developing fatty liver disease by up to 60%. Researchers say even regular sugary drinks weren't far behind, boosting the risk by about 50%. The condition, called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, causes fat to build up in the liver and can lead to cirrhosis or even cancer. The good news is that switching to water can lower that risk by as much as 15% compared to diet drinks. Time now, 9:39 and 79 degrees. You're watching GMSA at 9. Tonight is a chance for people to come out in their communities and speak up for change. It's National Night Out. So after the break, how one neighborhood is seeing changes they called for come to life.
This is it. This demolition site could be the future home of a new downtown Spurs arena. So what questions do you have about this huge project? Scan that QR code to let us know. Coming up on Wednesday, I'm taking your questions to Spurs ownership to get you answers.
Welcome back. Well, tonight is National Night Out, a time for neighborhood associations to shine. And this morning, Patty Santos takes us back to Westwood Square, the very first neighborhood we visited in our Know My Neighborhood series. One homeowner says that they are glad to see some small yet positive changes since our last visit there.
I was born here, raised here. I've lived here almost all my life.
Jesusita Rios says progress has moved at a snail's pace in her West Side neighborhood, but it's happening.
We've got some businesses coming in. We've got Mambo, for example, on the Las Palmas area, the ACS that, has come in. So those are good. They have paved the road on 36th Street, which is, again.
She credits the focus by KSAT's Know My Neighborhood for getting city leaders to take their collective concerns seriously. But she worries the urgency will fade if more neighbors don't speak up and call city leaders.
Our tax dollars, as minimal as they are, they still pay. And we would like some kind of feedback.
In a year, she's noticed improvements to the sidewalks. A street light will soon be installed in a high-traffic area, and businesses are moving in. Rio says it's a small step for a community she feels has been neglected for too long.
We're getting there, one step at a time. Baby steps, but we're getting there.
Well, they still have a long list of improvements they'd like to see, including reducing speeding along Castroville Road. Rios will be a part of National Night Out or San Antonio Neighbors Together event this evening. You also have a chance to make some changes in your own community by taking the first step and getting connected to your neighborhood's National Night Out. I know we're going to be going to ours. Very excited about that.
Speaking of community, we'll be doing Science with Sarah tomorrow.
Yes. Okay, you have something in your hand.
We're building paper plane launchers. Yes. Don't worry, I won't launch this at you.
Okay.
And don't worry, I won't aim for the camera here. But we're going to be talking about potential energy and kinetic energy. And let's see if I can get this to shoot.
Oh, there we go. That was good.
All right. Okay.
And so you've got something in your hand.
Yeah, it's a paper plane launcher. It's not a rubber band at all. What? Okay, no.
I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything.
So that's tomorrow on GMSA right here. Make sure to tune in to Science with Sarah. I'll be with a group of awesome fourth graders, and we'll also show other examples of potential energy as well. So outside right now, we've got the potential for a few showers later on today. 79 degrees, nearly 80 in San Antonio at the moment, and very humid outside. Okay, let's go ahead and show you where that front is right now. It is currently working its way through North Texas. Temperatures have fallen pretty drastically in Amarillo, Oklahoma City. It's only in the 50s. It's so close, but so far. We are not going to be seeing the cooler air in San Antonio. Instead, you can notice how there's some rain around this cool front, and that is the potential that we have. And it's a small potential, okay? It's only 30% chance. But I do think this forecast model shows this in a great way, meaning the location of the rain is uncertain, but the spacing out of it, the amount that there's going to be some that miss out completely, most will miss out completely, but there will be some that get some rain. I think that is a good example of what we could see today between 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. So right around the evening commute. We're not necessarily concerned about severe weather or dangerous weather. The only thing would be if you are going to be out and about for the evening commute, you might have to turn on those windshield wipers once or twice. Again, the vast majority of people will miss out. But if you happen to get a rain shower, it is within the possibility that you could see half an inch to an inch of rain. But most of us, as I mentioned, will miss out completely on the rain. So let me walk you through your KSAT 12-hour forecast. By about 3 o'clock, that's when we'll see a few of those pop-up downpours here and there. 92 for the high, so it's still going to be a hot day for us in San Antonio. And then as we head into the evening hours after sunset, our rain chance goes away for the day, and we end up with temperatures nearer to 80 degrees. After that, it's going to be a hot forecast for us. The only subtle change is going to be in the morning. By about Friday through the weekend, our morning lows are finally going to fall back into the 60s, close to average, which is about 64. It'll be pleasant with low humidity. That is really the biggest change for us in our forecast. Otherwise, we are going to be hot. Let's take a look at the tropics, because I do want to mention Hurricane Priscilla. Hurricane Priscilla is a Category 2 hurricane. It's got sustained winds of 110 miles per hour and a very distinct eye. Now, Priscilla is likely to not make landfall in western Mexico. It could, however, make landfall as a tropical storm in Baja California. So the biggest impact from Priscilla would be some rain along the Mexican west coast, states like Michoacan and those kinds of things. Otherwise, we are really only looking at a potential development in the Atlantic. This could be Tropical Storm Jerry soon, and it is not expected to have a major impact on land. It'll likely stay out to sea once again. So tropics are active, but not that impactful. Our weather is active today from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. with a small chance for rain, but not that active in the long term. We are going to be dry as October continues, so we get closer and closer to, mid-October. Earlier it was looking like we could have a front potentially by October 15th, but now that keeps on pushing back, and that's not great news. A lot of us really want the cooler air, don't we, Courtney?
Yeah, we definitely do. I don't want to complain, but it's hard to shop for Halloween costumes when I don't know whether it's going to be hot or cold.
That's true. I would say just do a light costume that you can put some layers on if you need to, just in case.
Because that's what we're doing. All right, let's check in with our SA Live friends. We've got Jen over there. What do you got for us today?
Yes, okay, thanks for the notes, Sarah. I'm taking note for my kids' costumes.
Yeah. Right?
Okay, thank you for that. Now, whether it's chilly or warm, a taco tastes good, right? No matter
absolutely.
What. So
yeah,
it's 100%. National Taco Day, and that's our question today. What is your go-to order, that perfect taco? Do you guys have one?
Yeah, I love Al Pastor tacos for sure.
Ooh,
I love those. I've got to shout out El Pastor es mi señor. It's so good.
It's so good.
And of course, Taquitos West too.
Taquitos West, yeah. I love Al Pastor. Also in my household, a standard bean and cheese taco is the way to go.
You can't go wrong with the bean and cheese.
Can't go wrong.
Right?
Can't go wrong.
Okay, well, thank you guys for sharing. Everybody else can scan that QR code, weigh in. We want to hear what that go-to order is. Speaking of delicious tacos, guess what's happening this weekend? The Big Red and Barbacoa Festival. I've got DJ Tonic and David joining me. Okay, what am I looking at here?
You're looking at our smoked barbacoa taco right here, getting ready for the Barbacoa and Big Red Festival.
It looks amazing. Now, DJ Tonic, there's a reason why we pair it with Big Red, right?
Well, first off, Barbacoa and Big Red is a San Antonio tradition. It's our culture. It's what people do, what brings families together on Sundays, right? But why Barbacoa and Big Red? So if you could shoot this picture of this taco right here, you have to have some very spicy, hot sauce, right? And what's the only thing that could extinguish that fire in your mouth?
I'll tell you.
A deliciously cold Big Red. Barbacoa Big Red. There you go.
Well said. There you go. Perfect pairing. Now, who's going to eat this one?
I am, because
I wanted it.
I made it.
Oh.
Wow. All right. Well.
Okay. Well, there we go. He'll make some more. Jada, speaking of tacos, SA Picks named the best food truck, and it is Naco Mexican, and that's where she's at. Hey, Jada.
Yes, it is. And how does free tacos on Taco Tuesday sound? I bet it sounds amazing. It sounds delicious to me. I am here at Naco on Grayson, just west of the Pearl. So you guys know exactly the Pearl. Come on down west and you will find yourself here at Naco Grayson. It's Taco Tuesday. They were voted best taco spot for breakfast and lunch tacos. We're going to be getting into it, and I'm going to be talking to the chef, but I'm going to toss it back to you for now, and I'll see you later on in the show.
All right, Jada, that looks amazing. Now we're talking about cuteness overload. Yeah, you don't want to see me. You want to see these cuties here. The Pets Alive Gala is happening, and we have all the details on how you can give back, how you can, these little guys right here, guess what? They need a home. And so we're going to give you all the information you need to know, and that is coming up real soon. There's tickets still available. Now, if you're looking for a job, we've got the expert in the house today to share some job hunting tips, what you need to know about those resumes. And if you're planning a little getaway, how about a girls trip? Count me in. We've got two experts joining us today as well, talking about some go-to trips right here in the Lone Star State. That and much more coming up right here on SA Live.
A day without pain is like a day without sunshine.
Dwayne Johnson is used to smash hits at the box office, but his latest film, The Smashing Machine, marks the lowest box office debut of his career, taking in just $6 million over the weekend. On Instagram Monday, the actor addressed the film's disappointing box office performance and shared his appreciation for those who went to see it in theaters. Truth is, this film has changed my life, he wrote. Rush is returning to the road. The Rock and Roll Hall of Famers have announced dates for their 50-something tour, which will mark their first trek in 10 years and their first since the 2020 death of their drummer and lyricist Neil Peart. The tour will kick off next summer and hit 7 cities in North America. Tickets go on sale October 17th. Cyndi Lauper is heading to Las Vegas. The singer wrapped her Girls Just Wanna Have Fun farewell tour back in August, but she'll be saying hello to a new residency in 2026 with 5 dates lined up at the Coliseum at Caesars Palace. And The View co-host Joy Behar is 83 today. And that's what's happening in Hollywood. Melissa Adon, ABC News, Los Angeles.
That song's gonna be stuck in my head all day.
Yeah, girls just want to have fun. We do.
Yeah. All right, taking a look outside at TransGuide. That's Loop 410 and Somerset. Everything's moving smoothly. We did show you a trouble spot earlier. Let's see if we can get that. There it is. 35 at Olympia. Now, this is a minor crash. That's what came out online, but it is moving super slowly. Obviously, that's a congested area, Sarah.
And the reason why it's moving slowly is it's a minor crash, but 3 lanes are closed in the southbound lanes of 35. Yeah. So, yeah, that area has had a lot of traffic recently from construction and the like. There's a small chance for some rain today from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m., 30% chance. And that does happen right around the time of the afternoon commute. So my advice to you would be check the KSAT weather app before you head out this afternoon. Check the radar on there. You might have to pack a little extra patience this afternoon depending on where the rain is. Otherwise, the only significant change to our forecast is that mornings will be more comfortable by the weekend. We're going to have morning lows in the low to mid 60s, and afternoons will be near 90 degrees over the weekend. The weekend feeling a lot more like summer than fall, Courtney.
Well, if you do get some rain, brag a little bit and send KSAT Connect pictures.
Please do. We'd love to see
We'd
them.
love to live vicariously through you.
And don't forget Science with Sarah tomorrow at 9 a.m. I'm looking forward to being with some fourth graders and doing paper airplane launchers.
You're going to have to teach me so I can be cool in my house and shoot the best airplane.
You're already cool.
Airplanes. Oh, you're cool too. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great day. We're going to send it to SA Live.
Celebrating San Antonio with the city's #1 lifestyle and variety show. This is SA Live.
Employers will look. They'll Google you, they'll look at your social media, they'll go onto your LinkedIn before sometimes they ever meet you.